Hello everybody. Today let us discuss how to analyze the time complexity or the time efficiency of recursive algorithms using Tower of Hanoi puzzle as an example. First let us know what is the Tower of Hanoi puzzle. Tower of Hanoi puzzle, also called as the Tower of Brahma or Tower of Lucas, was formulated by French mathematician Lucas. In the Tower of Hanoi there will be three towers or pillars or pegs or poles, and one of the pegs called as the source peg has n number of discs placed in the decreasing order of their diameter. Let us number these discs 1, 2, 3. Let us consider only 3 discs for the sake of understanding. These 3 discs which are n discs which are present in the source peg have to be moved to another peg called as the destination peg using auxiliary peg for temporary storage of the discs. When we state the problem, it looks very simple. We need to move n discs from the source to the destination. We can move directly from the source to the destination, but the problem has some constraints which makes it difficult to solve the problem easily. What are those constraints? The first constraint is only one disc can be moved at a time. The second constraint is larger disc cannot be placed on top of a smaller disc. And the third constraint is discs can't be removed from the middle. So we can't remove the middle disc from the stack of these discs. So keeping these constraints in mind, we need to solve the Tower of Hanoi problem. Okay. So how are we going to solve the Tower of Hanoi problem for n discs? Let us consider this example of 3 discs and see how we can find the solution. So the solution has only 3 major steps. The first step is to move n discs from the source to the destination. Move n minus 1 disc from the source to the auxiliary. Okay. So in our case there are 3 discs. So n is equal to 3. So if we want to move n is equal to 3 discs from source to destination, it requires us to move n minus 1, that is equal to 2 discs from source to auxiliary. That is 2 and 3 need to be moved to the auxiliary. Okay. Now let us assume that we have done that. We have moved the discs 2 and 3 onto the auxiliary. Now only one disc is left at the source. This one disc which is at the source can directly be moved from source to the destination. Okay. And when this is done, n minus 1 disc, that is 2 discs which are left at the auxiliary, can be moved from the auxiliary to the destination. Okay. Now an obvious question arises. When we had to move these 2 discs, this 2 and 3 from source to the auxiliary, didn't we move 2 discs at a time? So in fact we can't move 2 discs 2 and 3 at the same time. There we have to apply recursion. The best known solution for the Tower of Hanoi problem is based on recursion, which requires that to move n disc from source to destination, move n minus 1 disc from source to auxiliary. To move n minus 1 disc from source to auxiliary, we need to move n minus 2 discs first. And to move n minus 2 discs, we have to move n minus 3 discs. And another thing you have to observe here, every time the source, destination and auxiliary keeps changing. To move n discs from source to destination, that is to move 3 discs 1, 2, 3 from source to destination, we need to move the top 2 discs, that is 2 and 3 from source to auxiliary. So therefore the auxiliary becomes our destination and the actual destination becomes a temporary storage disk. Okay. Now to move these 2 discs from the source to the auxiliary, it once again requires us to do it in a recursive fashion. Similarly, Therefore, one disk, the topmost disk, that is disk 3, has to be moved from the source to the current auxiliary, which is nothing but the destination. Because in this statement, when we have to move two disks from source to destination, the auxiliary has become the destination and this is our auxiliary. So therefore, it requires move the one disk from the source to the destination. In our case, now it is the auxiliary. Okay, so therefore, actually it boils down to move the disk, one disk from source to destination. Okay, that is the first move that we will be doing. There is only one disk. Okay, so this one disk will be moving to the destination. This is done. Then it comes back to this point to move disk 2 and 3 from source to destination. Okay, once again recursively it will be called to move this disk 2, and there is only one disk, and that disk will be moved to the auxiliary, and then the disk 3, which is at the destination, will come back to the auxiliary. Okay, that is when this step is completely executed. It is at this point that n-1 disk which are at the source have been moved to auxiliary. So this is a recursive solution. So to move 3 disks, we need to move 2 disks. To move 2 disks, we need to move 1 disk. So if we are moving 100 disks, we need to move 99, 99, 98, 98, 97. So once this becomes the destination, once this becomes the destination, the destination keeps toggling between these two. Okay, and if this becomes destination, that becomes auxiliary. If that becomes destination, this becomes auxiliary. Now the one disk which is present at the source can be directly moved to the destination. So that is what we are doing here. Now the two disks which are present at the auxiliary have to be moved to the destination. Now destination is destination, but the source is auxiliary. This becomes the source, this is the destination, and source becomes the auxiliary. So now you can observe the roles of all these three pegs keep changing over a period of time. This will not be source throughout, or that will not be destination throughout. Now this is the source, this is the destination, this is the auxiliary. So move two disks from the auxiliary to the destination. So to move two disks from the auxiliary to the destination, we need to move one disk from the current source to the auxiliary, which is this. So therefore 3 will come here, and now this one disk which is present at the auxiliary can directly move from the source to the destination. This is the source now, so disk 2 will come and sit on top of disk 1, and finally now this one disk which is present at the source can be directly moved to the destination, and this is how the problem gets solved. Okay, so even though there are only 3 steps, 2 of them are recursive. The first recursive step requires us to move the n-1 disk from the source to the auxiliary. Then the next statement moves the nth disk which is present at the source directly to the destination, and the last statement requires us to move the n-1 disks that are present at the auxiliary in a recursive fashion to the destination. So if we have to solve it for bigger numbers, it will take more time. That's why I took only 3 disks. Now let us write the algorithm for the tower of Hanoi problem. Algorithm tower of Hanoi. Okay, so it is a recursive algorithm. Therefore the recursive algorithm should have a terminating condition, because you start from n disk, n-1, n-2, n-3, n-4. At some point we need to stop. So what is that condition? So that condition in our case is if there is only one disk. Okay, so move the tower of Hanoi, n disks which are present at the source to the destination using auxiliary for temporary storage. Okay, so what is the terminating condition? If n is equal to 1, if there is only one disk, okay, then you move that one disk directly from the source to the destination. Okay, move the disk from the source to the destination. Okay, else if there are more than one disks, what should we do? As I told, first we need to move the n-1 disks from the source to the auxiliary, using destination for our temporary storage. Okay, so that is a recursive call. So when this tells tower of n n minus 1, that tells tower of n minus 2, that tells tower of n minus 3. So it keeps on calling it recursively in that particular fashion. So move n minus 1 disk from the source. Now the destination is auxiliary, using destination as the auxiliary, and then we will move the nth disk directly from the source to the destination. Again, the last step, the n minus 1 disks which are present at the auxiliary, which were moved to the auxiliary, from the auxiliary it will be moved to destination using source as the temporary storage. So now the auxiliary becomes the source, destination will be the destination, and source will become the auxiliary. Okay, so this is the algorithm for tower of Hanoi. Okay, this is not a C code, this is a pseudo code. So as we have seen, for n 3 disks, how we solved in the similar fashion, in a recursive fashion, n minus 1 disk will be moved. N minus 1 disk will be moved from source to auxiliary first, then the nth disk will be moved directly from the source to the destination, and then n minus 1 disk will be moved from the auxiliary to the destination. So now we will try to analyze the efficiency of this algorithm. To analyze the efficiency of the algorithm, we will follow some steps. What is the first step? The first step is, what is the input of this particular algorithm? Because all the algorithms running time depends on the input size. As the input increases or decreases, the running time also increases or decreases. Therefore, first we need to estimate what is the input size of this particular algorithm. The second step is for us to find out one key operation which is taking us incrementally towards the solution, which we call as the basic operation or the key operation. And the third step is, we will write a recursive recurrence relation for this particular recursive algorithm, and we will solve that recursive algorithm. Okay, so that is how we are going to find the order of growth, that is the time efficiency of the tower of Hanoi algorithm. So how are we going to analyze? Analysis. First step, input size. So what is the input size to this algorithm? The number of disks, n number of disks. Therefore, the number of disks n is the input size for this particular algorithm. The second one is the basic operation. What is the basic operation? So if we can see, in the tower of Hanoi problem, the disks will be moved always. Therefore, the basic operation we can consider as the disk move operation. The next step is, we need to count the number of times this basic operation is executed. Okay, so to count this, we will write a expression, a recurrence relation, okay, which will try to calculate the number of times these disks are moved. Okay, so let me clear this a bit over here. So since we are going to write a function which will calculate the number of times the basic operation is executed, let us call that function by some name. Okay, so you can call it as say t of n, a of n, m of n, x of n, any name. So here we will call it as c of n. So c of n is a function which will count the number of times the basic operation is executed for an input size of n. Okay, so we want to find out how many times the disks will be moved when there are n disks. If we see this algorithm, it is not very clear for us how many times the disks will be moved. Okay, here there is one disk move instruction, here there is one disk move instruction, but in these two statements we don't know how many times the disks are actually mode. Okay, so what can we do? For that, what we will do is, this is a recursive call. This tells the same function is called with n minus 1 as the input. When we want to move n disk, we are going to move n minus 1 disk. We don't know how many, but in this call also some number of times the disk will be moved. We don't know how many times. Therefore, we will write it as C of n minus 1. To know the number of times the disk is moved when the input size is n is equal to number of times the disk is moved when the input size is n minus 1, because that is what is visible over here. The other things are hidden somewhere. We need to find it out. Okay. Then there is one disk move over here. We will tell plus 1. Once again here, when the input size is n minus 1, some number of disk moves are done. So therefore, for that another C of n minus 1, number of times the disk is moved when the input size is n minus 1. So this is equal to 2 C of n minus 1 plus 1. This is C of n minus 1, C of n minus 1. We'll add this is 2 C of n minus 1 plus 1. So C of n, n minus 1, n minus 2, n minus 3, it has to stop somewhere. Where does it stop? To know that terminating condition, we can see this. If n is equal to 1, then the disk will be moved directly from the source to the destination. Only one disk move operation will be performed. Therefore, it tells C of 1 is equal to 1. Okay. So we can write the recurrence relation in this particular fashion. 2C of n minus 1 plus 1 if n is greater than 1, okay, and 1 if n is equal to 1. Okay, that is the recurrence that we need to solve. To know the complexity or the efficiency of the tower of an eye algorithm. Okay, so we'll solve that recurrence by the method of backward substitution. C of n is equal to 2 C of n minus 1 plus 1. C of n requires us to know C of n minus 1. We don't know what is C of n minus 1. Okay, so for that, what we'll do is, we will substitute n minus 1 in the same expression, and thereby we will get C of n minus 1. So C of n minus 1 is equal to, when we substitute n minus 1 over here also n minus 1 gets substituted. Therefore, this will become n minus 2. So it is 2C of n minus 2 plus 1. Okay, that we will substitute here. For C of n minus 1, we will substitute the whole of 2C of n minus 2 plus 1. That is equal to 2C. This 2 is the 2 which is present in this expression. For this C of n minus 1, this whole thing needs to be replaced. So that is 2C of n minus 2 plus 1. This one is not this, it is this one which is in this particular expression, and this plus 1 will come as it is. Okay, and now when you simplify this expression, 2 into 2, 2 squared C n minus 2 plus 2 into 1, 2 plus 1. Okay, so this is what we get. So now this requires C of n minus 2. So what is C of n minus 2? We don't know. Once again, we will substitute in the same expression. C of n minus 2 is equal to 2 C of, when you substitute n minus 2 over here, this will become n minus 3 plus 1. Okay, so that we will substitute here. This 2 squared will be as it is. C, this whole expression has to come here. 2C of n minus 3 plus 1. For this C of n minus 2, this whole thing has to be replaced. Plus 2 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1. I didn't add that because it will be easier for us to simplify later. Okay, now once again, when you multiply 2 cube C n minus 3 plus 2 squared into 1 is 2 squared plus 2 plus 1. Okay, so now we can see there is some pattern here. When you have n minus 3, here you have 2 raised to the power of 3 and one lesser power than this 3, that is 2 squared, 2 to the power of 1. This 1 can be written as 2 to the power of 0. So in that particular fashion, the expression continues. Therefore, we will continue this expression up to some point k. 2 to the power of k, when this is k, we have C of n minus, when we have 3 here, we have 3 here, when we have 2 here, we have 2 here, Okay, so in this particular fashion it continues. Therefore n minus k plus 2 to the power of, here you have 1 less than this, k minus 1 plus 2 squared plus 2 to the power of 1, and this is 2 to the power of 0, as I told you already. Okay, so even now we are not able to solve the problem because we have c of n minus k. We reduce so that we will get some simple expression we can solve. So now this, if we have to solve, we will take the help of the initial condition. C of 1 is equal to 1. When n value is equal to 1, this will become equal to 1. So therefore, what can we do is, if this has to become equal to 1, this whatever is present in the bracket has to become 1. That is, we want n minus k to become 1. So when will if n minus k is equal to 1, then it means k is equal to n minus 1. Okay, so we'll substitute k is equal to n minus 1. When k is equal to n minus 1, what will happen? C of n will be equal to, here 2 to the power of k becomes n minus 1. C of, here we have n, k becomes n minus 1 plus 2 to the power of, I have already told you this power will be 1 less than this, k minus 1. So k is n minus 1, n minus 1 minus 1. So this continues up to 2 squared, 2 to the power of 1 plus 2 to the power of 0. Okay. So now this is equal to 2 to the power of n minus 1, c of n minus n plus 1 plus 2 to the power of n minus 1 plus 2 squared plus 2 to the power of 1 plus 2 to the power of 0. Okay, n minus 1, c of 1. C of 1 is 1. So this becomes 1. So this is 2 to the power of n minus 1 plus this is n minus 1 minus 1, 2 to the power of n minus 2. This series continues up to 2 squared plus 2 to the power of 1 plus 2 to the power of 0. Okay, so now we have a series of 2 to the power of, starting from 0 up to n minus 1. For this we have a formula, summation I is equal to 0 to n, 2 to the power of I is equal to 2 to the power of I minus 1. So this is a formula. When we substitute that formula here, see the series starts from 0, I is equal to 0. This series ends at n, this series ends at n minus 1. So therefore, I which starts at 0 doesn't go till n, it ends at n minus 1. Therefore, when we substitute, it becomes 2 to the power of n, 2 to the power of I plus 1 minus 1. Okay, so it is 2 to the power of I plus 1 minus 1. So this will be 2 to the power of n minus 1 plus 1 minus 1. So this plus 1 minus 1 gets cancelled, and therefore it becomes 2 to the power of n minus 1. This is 2 to the power of n minus 1. So this is the efficiency of the tower of Hanoi algorithm. 2 to the power of n minus 1. So we can see that it is an exponential algorithm. So what does this 2 to the power of n minus 1 imply? Okay, the efficiency of tower of Hanoi is equal to 2 to the power of n minus 1. Okay, so what does it mean? C of 1 is equal to 2 to the power of 1 minus 1, that is equal to 2 minus 1, that is 1. For 2 discs, how many times the basic operation will be performed? 2 squared minus 1, that is equal to 4 minus 1, that is equal to 3. For 3 discs, it is 2 cube minus 1, that is equal to 8 minus 1, that is equal to 7. For 4 discs, 2 to the power of 4 minus 1, that is equal to 16 minus 1, 15 moves. For 5 discs, it is 2 to the power of 5 minus 1, that is equal to 32 minus 1, 31. C to the C of 6 is 2 to the power of 6 minus 1, 64 minus 1, 63. So these are the number of times the basic operation is performed. That is number of times the discs are moved. count of number of times the disk is moved. When the number of disks is 1 is 1. Number of times the disks are moved when the count is 2 is 3, because we assume C of n to be the number of times the disk move operation is performed. Number of times the disk is moved when we have 3 disks is 7. Okay, so if we have to understand this better, leave off this minus ones over here, and because this is nothing but 1 subtracted from these values. Look at these values. When you look at these values, you can observe every time one disk is increased for the tower of an I problem, the number of times basic operation executed will keep doubling. So 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, for 3 it is 8, for 4 it becomes double it, 16. So for 5 it becomes 32, for 6 it becomes 64. So it increases very rapidly. Next will be 128, 256, 512, 1024. So since the number of disk move operations have to be performed double, every time you increase just one disk, the running time will also keep doubling. Okay, and even for moderate number of disks, the time taken by the tower of an I algorithm will be unacceptable. Okay, in the beginning I told it is also called as Tower of Brahma. Legend says that in a room there are 3 towers and 64 golden discs are placed on 3 golden pins. Okay, and it is said that priests are moving these discs from the source to the destination, and if we assume that one disc is moved per 1 second, to move all these 64 discs, the time taken will be 5 times the life of the universe till now. Okay, therefore we can see how the running time of the tower of an algorithm increases with the with a small increase in the input size. Okay, so tower of an I algorithm, even though the recursive algorithm is the best algorithm we know, it is not an acceptable algorithm for even moderate inputs. We can't even run the tower of an algorithm for 100 disks. Okay, 64 disks, even 55, 60 disks itself will take hundreds and thousands of years. Okay, so with this we'll conclude by telling that the tower of an I, for analyzing the recursive algorithms, first we'll estimate the input size, then the number of the basic operation in the algorithm, and number of times the basic operation is executed. For recursive algorithms, it will be a recurrence relation. We saw how to write the recurrence relation. The recurrence relation should have an initial condition, okay, or also called as the terminating condition. So when we solve the recurrence relation, we can solve it either using method of backward substitution, or also we can use Master's theorem. We will get the order of growth, and we have seen that the order of growth of tower of Hanoi is 2 to the power of n. Okay, so order of growth belongs to theta of 2 to the power of n. Okay, with this I end today's session. Thank you.